You see all these news of floods and everything in Pakistan. It's really bad. It's really bad. I live here. I know the situation. It's really bad here. People are helpless, crying. I saw a video of a girl with an empty pot, and she was scratching her nails on the empty pot, and she was just she was just thinking in her mind that it's just there's a food in the empty pot, and that's how she was trying to give herself comfort that yeah, I am eating something. It's really bad here, and climate change is real. You can look in Mississippi, water shortages, in Yellowstone, floods there in Pakistan, and the whole world is going to be affected by this, not just Pakistan. The reason I'm sweating is because the electricity is gone. It's not because I have low sugar or I have a chronic heart disease. I'm going to talk about something serious, so I'm going to keep this short as I can. Since 1950, the carbon emission levels in our atmosphere have increased a lot, and scientists say that 95% of the carbon emission that is in our atmosphere is due to human activities. We burn a lot of fossil fuel, coal, oil to power up our homes. These lights can be on. We can run our cars. We can run our factories. We can have our normal lives, which increases, which has increased the carbon emission levels in our atmosphere. And another reason is that our population has increased a lot. Since 1950, 3% of the world population has increased. That's 70 years. And with that, the human reliance on animal meat, or like the more humans, more animals. The more animals, more methane gas, and not to mention CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, carbon dioxide, and all of that goes up in the atmosphere, and it goes up in the atmosphere, and then when the sunlight enters our atmosphere, then it traps the sunlight and everything, heating up the earth, which is known as the greenhouse effect. The carbon emission level in our atmosphere was 0.03%, which has now risen to 0.04%. Looks a really small number, but it has a really significant impact on our environment. Pakistan is among the top 10 countries that are going to be affected by climate change. As you can see that uh, the source of employment in Pakistan is basically agriculture and textile industry, which offers 50% of the employment to the people of Pakistan. And both of these need water. And like you can see, the t-shirts that we wear, they it's made by tons liters of water. And if and agriculture needs good soil, good nutrients, water, and if the climate isn't nice, if the climate is not suitable, then there is going to be no agriculture, which means food shortages. And if food shortages happens, then people will come out in the streets, fear, chaos, and it'll be like Sri Lanka. And if people come out in the streets, then that will be a threat to national security. And if people come to the streets, then they won't listen to anyone. Further effects that are the heat waves. Frequent heat waves. According to the UN, this year has been the most hottest year in 10,000 years. And the temperature has only increased just 1% in those years. Earth atmosphere has increased 1%. Look at Margala Hills, what happened? Forests were on fire. Look in America, there is frequent wildfires and everything. It is getting hot. Also, in addition to that, it's getting even more cold too. Europe is now more colder than the Arctic region. And after the Arctic and Antarctic region, the most glaciers that are found are in the Himalayas, which are in our heads. And if there is a lot of heat waves, then glaciers are gonna melt. And when those glaciers melt, what is happening in Pakistan right now? Flash floods. That flash flood is gonna go destroy all the agriculture, and then no agriculture, no food. And then what will happen? Obviously chaos, no food, then people will die. And what happens then? I heard a lot of sarcastic comments and a lot of very stereotyped comments in Washington Post. People saying that, oh, they took the aid and they should get the they should go to ISIS or Al Qaeda or something like that. Oh, why are we funding the terrorists or something like that? You're human. The only thing that makes you human is that you care about others. When the thing about us is that we care whatever is happening bad in the world, we actually condemn it. We don't promote it. Like we don't see other people as enemies. Since childhood, now I am 27, 28 years old, I haven't heard from my mother or father about anything bad about any other religion or any other country. All humans are equal, all humans are nice. That's it. What happened in Yellowstone, even though 1,000 people died in Pakistan, there are only 25, 30 deaths in Yellowstone, but we actually mourn for them. We don't say that, oh my God, they deserve it or something like that. That's actually wrong. That flood water is going to go into the rivers. The rivers are going to go into the oceans, and then the ocean level will rise. And then look at all the coastal cities are at risk. The coastal cities are at risk. Miami, Osaka, Venus, and all those cities are at risk. I mean, the world is 95% water, maybe more than that, and only 5% is land. 2016, all of the global leaders of the world met in Paris, and they signed a treaty known as the Paris Accords 2016, in which the purpose of that treaty was that to keep the carbon emission levels low as possible, up to 1%, I think. And but there was no difference in that treaty. There was no difference seen. America in Trump's administration exited from the Paris Accord. I'm sweating. Paris Accord, and Russia and China were accused of keeping their carbon emission levels so low that they didn't took it seriously. And Pakistan pledged to keep their carbon emission levels up to 300% less. And then there was also 1 million uh, tsunami tree plantation drive in Pakistan. Also, I remember my mom was a headmistress in a school, in a primary school, and this drive, she was planting trees also everywhere because it was the order from the government. And when she came back home, she gave me 5 trees, roots and everything, and she said that go plant them somewhere. Again, I'm going to say I'm really disappointed to say this, but we humans are the most destructive species on the planet. And she gave me those trees, and I said that I'll go to the my old neighborhood to plant them. And I planted them there. They were guava trees, I think, guava trees and fruit trees. And the next day, when I went back to check on them, there were no trees left. Somebody ripped them off and everything. Because oh no, this was my yard or everything like that. So it's really disappointing. We need to change our habits. We need to unlearn things. There is so much sunlight in Pakistan. uh, we can use that to we can use that in our advantage. We can use solar plates, solar panels to generate power. Badin, a district in Sindh, it's so windy there, and we can install wind turbines there to generate electricity. We have to educate people. We have to convince people again. But the thing is that I'm going to talk in Punjabi now. ओ यार तू बड़ा कोई सुधरा हुआ है, तू तो बड़ा ये है, दर्स ना दे, don't give advice to us, we know what you are, we know what you do and all of that. We need to change that. We need to be unegoistic. We have to let go of our ego. If we stick to animal meat based diet, and if we don't come to plant based diet, something far worse is going to come. Akram says in his video discussing the same subject that I'm discussing, he says that you can't progress in a finite world infinitely. We are finite, we can't progress. In a finite world, this world is going to end, we are going to end. We can't progress in this world infinitely. I'm going to end this video by quoting one of the hadiths of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that be as a traveler in this world, and after your journey is done, then you depart from this world.